Okay, Louisiana beer reviews take two. Memory card was full, and then when the memory card gets full, it shuts off, and then I realized I said, oh heck. Anyway, it's 9:55 in the morning. 8:55 in the morning. It's about 57 degrees. The sun is trying to come out. It's a little chilly. I was at Red, White, and Brew in Hammond, and I saw this bizarre beer. It's called Boom! Imperial Pislner. And I thought, oh, I bet that's bad. It's a cheap looking label. I said, I bet this is the bum juice of Central Europe. But you know me, I had to buy it. 16.9 ounce bottle, 8.5% alcohol. I got on their website. It's very not informative. They say, well, we contract brew with this other brewery, and we are called the Explosion Brewing Company. Right there, I thought, on the bottle it says an all Zatek hopped Pilsner, made with 4 kettle additions, for good bitterness and conditioned for more than 100 days. Okay. But it's strange because when you look on the website, it's saying well and dry hopped with Saz hops, and they use Pilsner malt. It gets 8 ratings on Beer Advocate, although the bros say it's good. Rate beer, so 8 ratings isn't even enough to give it a score, alright? Rate beer has a few scores, and they give it a 12 out of 100 and a 40 out of 100 for the style. So it's hard to figure out who really owns this. This could be one of these peculiar Heineken or Carlsberg group brands masquerading under a invented brewing company name. If you get on the Amstel, which is a subsidiary of Heineken International, the Amstel, we get Amstel Light here, all right? But the Amstel website talks about some of their really harsh stuff like Amstel Cannon, 11% alcohol. Really something that would appeal to all the alcoholics in inner city Amsterdam, I'm sure. But you know, Heineken tries to disassociate themselves from that. So it could be something like that. Now look at this thing. When I did the first video, it poured up not too thick of a head. It's a wide brim glass and did leave some decent lacing. And then, but look how cloudy this thing is. A cloudy orange appearance. I don't think Pilsners are supposed to be cloudy and orange. And then it had this caked stuff at the bottom, and I shook the bottle and I poured it in, and then it just, this grayish cloud descended, so I thought, that don't look good. All the bottles say 2011, and they don't say what that means. Does that mean the beer company came out in 2011? This was bottled in 2011? We don't know. It's about $3 for this bottle, so it's a little overpriced. They also make another Boom, which I have in the fridge. I'm going to do that tomorrow. And then they have this chocolate Boom, and there's another one. And they're all really strong, so that's why they call them Boom. It's like an explosion of alcohol. But let's see if it's an explosion of quality. The initial view is that it is not. There are chunks, there are brown chunks floating about. So it's a dirty looking beer, it's an unfiltered beer, it's a scary looking beer. The aroma, finally my sinuses started clearing up. The aroma is so sweet. It's like sickly sweet. There's an intense barley malt sweetness. There's like a candy sweetness. It smells like caramel or butterscotch, or you know, they have those Werther's candies and you can suck on them and they're like weird. They're like not hard candy, but they're not soft candy, and they're like in between, and they have that strange, but you don't mind it because it's a candy, but it just does not smell right in a beer. It's a dirty smelling thing. The flavor. It's the same thing. It's like harsh. It's sickly sweet in a way. It's candy. It's like bad candy sugar, like something that companies say we don't want. And it's intense barley malt. And they don't use corn or rice. I think it's just really barley malt and hops. I don't mean it's good barley malt and hops. And then there's a bitterness. I mean, there's a sharp whatever hops going around the taste. So I think the IBUs are a little higher than you would imagine for a normal Pilsner. They probably have to up the IBUs to make the beer, you know, you wouldn't be able to drink it otherwise. It'd be too sweet and cloying and disgusting. As you can imagine, the mouthfeel is thick. You could almost chew this beer more than drink it. And the finish, it's in between wet and dry like most beers, but it's not refreshing. It's not easy drinking. It's not. It's, you know, after the thing cut off and I was deleting everything, I'm started thinking about this beer. Like, what is this thing, man? And then it hit me like a diamond bullet in the forehead, as a guy said in a movie once. It reminded me of Trevose, Pennsylvania, US Highway 1, walking in that store and buying the 40 Street Legal, that 24-ounce can. This reminds me of 40 Street Legal, a nasty, dirty little, just a criminal little beer. And then I stupidly drank the whole thing. And I felt really sick, but only for about a day, 24 hours. And I have a feeling this is the same type thing. It looks like 40 Street Legal. It smells like it. It reminds me of it. I wish I had been doing video reviews back in the summer of 2010 when I bought that 40 Street Legal. That is a bad little beer. This beer, how would I rate it? For beer overall, it's very hard to rate because in a way you have to admire it, that they have the gall to produce something like this. It's like, where do you get how could you have such nerve to put something like this on the market? And then they're over there in Hammond selling it. If I wanted to buy a good 8.5% alcohol lager, I would buy Schlitz Gold Bull VSL. I mean, it's well made. It's a clear, crisp, clean looking beer. It tastes good. It's harsh, yeah, okay, but I mean, it's 8.5%. It's made to be harsh, but it's, you know, it's got a lot of good qualities. This one doesn't. This is dirty, and it's not like VSL where they're like, sort of like, take no prisoners approach. This is not a take no prisoners approach. This is more like a we don't care approach. It's like they're saying, yeah, we know it's bad. And you can't handle it because you're not a drunk. You don't stay at a homeless shelter. You don't know what the lifestyle's about. You can't deal with it. All of that's true. I can't really deal with it. And I'm going to regret drinking the whole thing. That's almost a guarantee. But for what it is, an atrocity, it is an atrocity. With all these little brown specks floating about, you have to admire it. It's not a good beer. It's not a respectable beer. It's not an acceptable beer. It's not a beer one should drink, ever test, ever sample, or ever buy. But when you see it, you can't, you know, you just gotta buy it, right? So you give it a B for audaciousness and for the gall. So you give it a B. It's a good beer because you can't imagine that somebody would have the gall to put this on the market. Obviously, it's not a good beer by any stretch of the imagination. But I'll end the review by saying it's quaint. It's quaint to drink this thing at 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'll start at 8:50 in the morning. If you see it, avoid it at all costs. But if you're like me, you know what's going to happen. You're going to buy it. You're going to try it. You're going to regret it. But then in a way, you'll be glad that you went through it because it exists. Y'all come on down to southeastern Louisiana.